here. And Brock Osweiler, ESPN, former Arizona State quarterback, is here. Anything better than just the word passion when it comes to college football?
Oh, is it not the best? It's just the absolute best. And to be here at Big 12 Media Days and get this started, you know what it means. It means the football season's right around the corner.
Right.
And it's just the best time of year. When that first game finally kicks, what is it, week 0, Iowa State, Kansas State on ESPN. It's going to be fantastic.
Do you get to go do that one there in Ireland? Would you like to go do that one? Can you get your way over there?
We do not request games. We're told not to do that. We just wait for our assignment. But I would do that game in a heartbeat. I think that'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I don't know. You're probably not Irish, but you could say that they would read me a lot from my Irish roots.
I think they'd take me, and I'd find a way to
do a 23andMe. There's got to be something in there. Brock,
maybe percentage, small percentage.
Brock, this your alma mater won this league last year, and no one thought they would. And due in large part to the fact that Kenny Dillingham was everybody, like, people knew about Kenny Dillingham, but he never, had that opportunity. Yeah. What did you see from him last year that really enabled him to announce himself and the Sun Devils on the scene?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I don't know if he sat down with you guys today.
This morning.
Oh, good. Okay, so you guys saw it up close and personal, and then you see him on the stage and then on the panel with us at ESPN. The energy that he brings with him, that's real. That is who he is 365 days a year. And so, that is authentic Kenny Dillingham. And so, when you think back to where Arizona State was when he took it over, it was in a dark place. So it was going to take energy like Coach has to be able to get that thing going. And, I just think he's created such a unique culture in Tempe, a culture that the players can buy into. He said earlier, I don't need to recruit players. He said the players recruit themselves. And once they're here, they stay here. And he's not saying it in an arrogant way. It's the culture. And what he's saying is the current players on the roster are having so much fun. They're getting coached so well. They're competing day in and day out that they're calling other high school guys and portal guys and say, hey, you want to be a part of this. You want to come here. And then once they're there, they're bought in and sold. And so, he's a very unique guy. I think a lot is brought up about his age, but at the end of the day, the energy that he brings and the coaching staff that he has surrounded himself with. Coach is the first one. If he doesn't know something, he'll say, hey, I don't know it, but I'm going to find somebody who does. So he brought in 2 fantastic coordinators, Marcus Arroyo on the offensive side of the ball, lots of experience in the NFL, Oregon with Justin Herbert. They lit up the skies. And then Brian Ward on defense. Ton of success, and then we have guys like Hines Ward as the wide receiver coach. So I just think he's surrounded himself with a great staff. He's created belief, he's created culture, and it's going to be exciting to see if it can be sustained.
What do you think about this league's quarterbacks? I mean, from Brendan Sorsby out of here earlier, Sawyer Robertson, you got Avery Johnson. Tomorrow there'll be a boatload of guys as well. I mean, I think that's kind of the storyline, right? When you first think of the Big 12 in 2025, is it the quarterbacks in your mind?
Yeah, it's elite. It really is, and it's super exciting. Just getting ready for Big 12 Media Days, and you start watching film again, and you get back into the swing of things. There's a half dozen guys that have a great chance to be drafted and play on Sundays in the NFL.
I didn't
even
say Sam Levitt's name.
No, trust me. Like I get going down the list, and you get to 6 and 7. You're like, well, I know there's 8, 9, 10 guys.
Yep.
I think the thing that's so exciting about that, though, when you turn on Big 12 football this year, you're going to be entertained because there's good quarterback play. We all the guys and gals that are junkies and just consume this sport and watch every game. We all know the game is better if you have good quarterback play, and the Big 12 has no shortage of that. So it's certainly the year of the quarterback. And the thing is, it's not potential. It's proven guys. You have guys like, I think about like Rocco Beck. Mm-hmm. He's been a starter now. He's going on year 3. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards back-to-back seasons, over 20 touchdowns. No one's talking about Rocco Beck. Because there's Sam Levitt, there's Sawyer Robertson, there's Baron Morton. What does he do at Tech this year? There's Josh Hoover right down the street at TCU. It's exciting.
When you look at some of those, like, Sam Levitt gets the attention because he was in the playoff last year. But, you've got guys who haven't hit their potential yet. Avery Johnson is, it's the highest ranked recruits that Kansas State's ever had in their whole history.
Yep.
And he's in his third year there. They have not been able to get like people out of the Big 12 to go in the portal and switch leagues. It means something that they're staying, doesn't it?
I think it says a lot. I'm really glad you brought up that point because all those quarterbacks we've just mentioned, they got phone calls.
Hey,
They got big phone calls.
Yeah. I would like to see the list of how many of them that Tennessee didn't call after Nico.
Goodness.
Like, who did they not get around to?
Yeah, Notre Dame. I mean, we can go down the list. There were some big phone calls made, and you're right. It says a lot about what this conference means to players and why this conference is so special. I love that you mentioned the potential of Avery Johnson. You know, let's not forget this time last year, and we were probably putting too much pressure on him, but the media was saying, hey, this guy's a dark horse to win the Heisman. Well, we all can see the potential in Avery Johnson. When he's good, he's as good as anybody in the country. But there's been some issues with inconsistencies in the pass game. If he improved upon that in the offseason, improves his completion percentage, cuts down on turnovers, starts making the routine throws on first and second down, sky's the limit for this kid. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's got a great swagger about him today out here in the purple suit.
Yep.
Drives a purple Corvette. What's not to love about that? So Big 12 is very excited.
And then that doesn't include Wigman at Houston, Caden Salter, who has played well at Liberty, at Colorado. It's loaded. How do you describe the Big 12 when it comes to the pecking order? Yes, there are two conferences, and the Big Ten's won 2 in a row. The SEC has bucket loads of championships. Is it a competitive league top to bottom? That's what makes it difficult, but there are no logos and alpha dogs or blue bloods. Does that hurt them?
You know, it certainly does, you know, and that's been a big conversation today here at Media Days is how many teams are getting into the playoff, you know, and I think that blue blood thing matters and the big brands matter. But I'll say this, college football as of July 1st is going a direction that it's never been before. Every school, if they want to, can now pay their players a little over $20 million. So think about that. It is in a lot of ways, whether you like it or not, it is now the National Football League. Okay, in the National Football League, there are rules on how many players you can have on your roster. Guess what? That's what college football is now. In the National Football League, there is rules on how much money you can spend on that roster every year. Well, that's what college football just did on July 1st. So, you know, when you talk about the blue bloods of the sport and the history and the tradition, I think Alabama, I think Texas, I think Ohio State, Michigan, we all know those schools. Does that remain? Or is there a changing of the guard? Who says Texas Tech? We all know what they just did with their blank check in the offseason. Why aren't they the next blue blood? I don't know.
Well, I think,
or Arizona State. Look at what they're doing. Well, wouldn't you want to go to Tempe if you're a 5-star player?
Or if I was just anybody.
and you get to play for Coach Dillingham. You saw the energy and the authenticity and how much you get, like, so why not?
You know, we were there when we were Super Bowl in Phoenix a couple years ago. We went to see Bert Kreischer on campus there at Arizona State.
I was there too.
Oh yeah. So great show. Great show. Yeah. But so we're there and like we walk onto campus. It wasn't my first time because we had been covering stuff before and I'd seen Sun Devil Stadium and, you know, Camelback Mountain, like all those, you know, cool things that they have there. But walking onto that campus, it's just an awesome campus. Yeah. And for years, and I'm sure you felt this maybe a little bit even when you were playing there, they were trying to get out of their image as the safety school, the Pac-12. That was the knock, right? Yeah. But it also then they kind of ignored athletics to their detriment. And that's a place where if you turn the faucet on, people will come because it's a great place to be.
We have the largest alumni base in the world. Think about that. So now if you get the alumni base behind the program, you just got academics behind it. There's been a whole kind of convergence of, you know, they were always divided. There was athletics and there's academics. Well, now you take the power and the financial power of they've merged. Okay, now you got this whole salary cap deal. There's so many things going in favor, and then you have a guy like Kenny Dillingham. But you know, I don't want to talk just about Arizona State because that is where I played. You know, there's other schools out there. You once again look at what Texas Tech is doing. You know, you think about other schools, TCU, like you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Like think about what you can do with recruiting. Houston, What can you do with recruiting? And you talk about big donors behind programs, and Houston's building a beautiful facility. So
have you done a game at UCF at the Bounce House?
I have. I've been to the Bounce House.
I mean, you want to talk about atmosphere?
Are there good players that come out of the state of Florida?
Yeah.
What can they maybe do now? Yeah. So if you think about it, if I'm a 5-star player and UCF can pay me maybe a little bit more than Florida's offering me, and you maybe have a great connection with Scott Frost, well, maybe do you go to UCF?
Where before that might not have been in the discussion.
It never would happen. Yeah. It would never happen because you're going to go to the place that you absolutely know you have a chance to compete for a national title and get to the NFL.
Well, doesn't it also make you again, because the money can be about the same, and you might be able to go a little bit more, but it can maybe allow you to go okay, where do I really love? Am I going to Gainesville because I think I can maybe make more money if I'm good there, as opposed to Orlando where I'm kind of I'll be fine, but I'm not well, but now it maybe makes you go you know what, I'd like Scott Frost better. That's what I'm going to do.
And to your point also, those are all great points. Where am I going to play? Yeah. Am I going to go to Alabama and get buried on a depth chart, which is in the old way of college football, that was fine. And then, maybe your redshirt junior year or redshirt senior year, you become a starter and you still go to the NFL. Where now, I mean, because it's the level playing field, because everybody has the right to pay the same amount, you're going to potentially consider going to another great situation, but getting on the field as a redshirt freshman or a redshirt sophomore. I don't know. I'm just saying we're headed into a place in college football that we've never been before because of the roster caps and because of the salary cap.
If the big if being if they actually enforce things, right? That's the whole key to everything.
Because there's still the NIL component over here on the side, and you heard all the coaches talk about that today too. So, but then
But we have fingers crossed that we're just going to believe it until it. Yeah.
And we've come this far, so why not get it to that point?
Right.
Why not just, you'll have some people argue a different way, this and the other, but to me, the NFL looks like a pretty darn good model. Seems like that league's growing, the viewership, it's just time to model it.
Well, and look, find out, tell the people what fair market value is. Tell them that, so that when somebody goes there, you can't just say, all right, well, we're giving him $1 million, and then he may never play because you're giving him $1 million because you have it, and it doesn't work out.
What is the fair market value for an 18-year-old quarterback that's never played a snap in college football, but he's a 5-star because one publication says that?
Yeah.
Well, where's the book that says that? There isn't one. So to your point, it still is, there's some murky waters. I don't know. I think we all know some solutions if you just look up one league and see what they're doing, but we'll see if we get there.
Speaking of which, everybody still gets paid. Everybody still gets paid.
You were a basketball and football star at Montana. How did they find you? What did you have to go? Did you pretty good?
Yeah.
And you ended up playing in the NFL, Super Bowl active, all that. Yeah. But how did they find you?
Yeah, old school. I made my own highlight tapes. I wrote letters to coaches, packed them up in the mail, and mailed them.
No kidding.
I didn't go to any camps, nothing like that. But going to Arizona State, and I don't think I sent them a letter and a tape, but Dennis Erickson's best friend happened to live in Great Falls, Montana at the time.
Wow.
I played a road game in high school in Great Falls. And after the game, supposedly he called Coach Erickson and said, hey, you need to come see this kid in Montana.
Great story. So, thank you.
Old school.
What was he like, Coach Erickson?
The best.
He legend at Miami.
You need to get him on the headset.
Oh, I would love to.
And he will tell you stories.
Challenge accepted.
He will keep you entertained for hours. He's the best.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Great to see you. Good luck to the football season, the broadcast, and everything else. Thank you, Brock. Brock Osweiler with us, ESPN in Frisco, Big 12 Media Days.
In our logo and advertising, we say we are people that you can count on.